In 1993, the Super Mario Bros. Live-action movie was released, starring Bob Hoskins, John Leguizamo, Dennis Hopper, Samantha Mattis and more. You'll be forgiven in thinking that it was an instant success. If you've actually seen it, however, you'll know this is far from true. The movie is a tale of what-ifs, and not just what if it was any good. Dustin Hoffman actually originally showed interest in the part of Mario, but was effectively blocked by Arakawa. Danny DeVito was courted instead, but wanted to read a script first, which led him to turning it down. Even Tom Hanks was in the frame at one stage, but again was turned down because Nintendo felt that he wasn't suitable for a darker, more serious role. He was mostly known for his comedic roles at the time, but bear in mind 1993 was the same year that he'd won an Oscar for Philadelphia. Bob Hoskins was eventually selected, and he himself stated it was money and the fact that the initial script wasn't that bad that helped him make up his mind. It wasn't until after he'd accepted the role that he realised that it was based on a video game, when his son had told him. There were similar issues with casting Bowser, as Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Keaton were both offered the role, but declined before Dennis Hopper landed the part. The film's script is where the true tragedy lies, however. Nintendo sold the movie's rights in 1990 to Leitmotiv for a mere $2 million. This would allow them to retain creative input and the merchandising rights for the movie. With the cash cow that was Mario Bros. Franchise, and Jake Eberts, a 3-time Oscar winner, on board, it couldn't fail, could it? Yes, it definitely could. You see, before the film had even begun shooting, they had cycled through more than 5 teams of writers, several producers, and 3 directors. Finally, Nintendo stepped in and said that the writers and directors were forbidden from working together, as they had received everything from a Super Mario-inspired fantasy world to a more dark, action-packed adult tight ramp that wasn't really the image they wanted to give off in the West. When the actors finally received their new scripts, they were shocked and outraged. The script wasn't the only issue, however. The final directors, yes directors, there were 2 of them, a husband and wife team of Rocky Morton and Isabel Jenkin, were described as uncontrollable tyrants who oddly didn't work well together. They even called for more script rewrites during shooting, to the point that the actors stopped preparing for their roles as inevitably a new screenwrite would arrive every day. This lack of interest by pretty much everyone in shooting the movie led to the unified hatred of Morton and Jenkin, with the cast having t-shirts created with all the nasty, derogatory remarks the directors had made to them during filming, and they wore them openly on set. Hoskins and Leguizamo famously took to getting drunk on set by drinking shots of scotch between scenes. On one occasion, they were called for a take that involved driving. Hoskins and Leguizamo, now both drunk, piled into their van and proceeded to shoot the chase scene. Feeling the effects of their wonderful scotch, Leguizamo accelerated and then braked hard while taking a corner, and ended up crushing Hoskins' hand, which had been holding the open frame of the van's door. The director's solution? The show must go on, and Hoskins, with his hand in a cast that they cleverly painted pink to try and match his skin colour, finished out the rest of the movie without full dexterity. After months of shooting, the film was finally finished, but not before there was one last twist. The producers and now Nintendo knew they didn't have a good movie on their hands, but they never thought that it would be received as badly as it was. Slammed by both the critics and public alike, costing over $40 million to make, which meant it ran over budget, finished behind schedule, with a script that wasn't exactly children friendly, and grossing a mere $21 million upon its release in May of 1993. It just couldn't get any worse for Nintendo or their family conscious image. Now could it? Well, yes it could. You see, in the same year, Midnight Video released a pornographic parody of the Mario Brothers games entitled Super Hornio Brothers. Technically they released 2, because director Buck Adams, who also starred in the movie, was asked to split a 37-page script into 2 movies to be filmed over a 2-day period. Adams, a Mario Brothers fan, knew the story inside out, so agreed. The first film's plot sees computer programmer Squeegee Hornio, played by the infamous Ron Jeremy, and his brother Ornio Hornio, played by TT Boy, get sucked into the black void that exists inside a computer monitor when the computer is turned off after a freak power surge. A computer virus tells them that King Pooper, played by Buck Adams, has kidnapped Princess Perlina, played by Chelsea Lynx. It's Pooper's plan to forcibly have Perlina help him travel to Earth in a bath full of semen, energised by a special generator. Squeegee and Ornio travel through the computer world, defeating villains as they go, before managing to fight Pooper. Squeegee is actually close to losing before Ornio shoves him into the bath where he melts and dies. Perlina, now free, is asked by the brothers to teleport them back to Earth, but Perlina accidentally only transfers herself and Hornio, leaving Squeegee behind. After a long recap of the first movie, Perlina and Hornio return to Squeegee's office to start the second movie. Perlina attempts to bring Squeegee back to the real world, but everything goes terribly wrong and she accidentally teleports King Pooper back with him. King Pooper inevitably escapes and sets about his dastardly plan of conquering the world by procreating with human women to create more King Pooper offspring. As Pooper hires a prostitute to start his plan, the brothers realise the generator is the key to Pooper's power and Squeegee must teleport back inside the computer to destroy it. So Squeegee, with the aid of a computer virus, makes his way back to Pooper's lair and then devises a plan to have the virus overload Pooper's generator and destroy it. Back in the real world, Squeegee then explains that King Pooper is now in a state of limbo and won't cause any more trouble. What stands out about these movies, other than the fact that they cost just $20,000 to make and were filmed over just 2 days, is that it's like they never existed. You see, even though Nintendo of Japan owned love hotels enabled the use of their Famicom for betting and other such adult theme activities in Japan, Nintendo of America still had their wholesome family goodness face on in the West. They couldn't allow a porn party to tarnish their reputation, and bought the rights to both movies to halt their distribution. That's right, Nintendo of America owns the rights to not one but 2 porn movies. It could be argued that, pornography aside, Buck Adams actually did the Mario Brothers more justice by creating a better adaptation of the franchise, but the fact remains that Nintendo's purchase of the porn party's rights, something that was pretty much unheard of then and even now, means a DVD rip of Super Hornio Bros. 2 that was released sometime in June of 2009 is the only way this once dismissed as fake urban legend was finally confirmed to have ever existed.